Hey everyone, welcome to the Love Everybody podcast. I'm here with my guest, Matt DeMaio. Yes, and we just actually did a session. So how you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling great.
Tell them how you really feel. Tell them how you
No. I definitely feel much more energized than I was before the workout. That's what I really enjoy about working out, because sometimes when you get ready to do a workout, you feel like I'm not in the mood to do it. I don't want to do it. But then after you get through your miserable, at least for me, my miserable phase of not wanting to work out, and then going through the motions of working out, and then after the workout it's done, you feel just so great. For me personally, I just feel so great. I feel energized. I feel very strong.
Also, he did just have some fight energy. So just to let you guys know, he's drinking. So you just tried the strawberry, yes.
I tried the strawberry for the first time.
Yeah, because you tried, you got the blueberry at the expo. So that's where we met. So the Music City Fit Expo, shout out to them. And tell them a little bit, because you told me, a little bit with your movement journey and everything, but tell them how you found out about the expo.
Okay. So I found out about the expo because it all happened because of the World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw.
Yes.
I've been such a big fan of him and his journey ever since 2015.
Yeah.
And I saw that he was doing this event in Nashville, Tennessee. So I was like, you know what? I'm looking at my Google Maps.
I know. Tell them where you're from. Yeah. Tell them how far it took you to get here right now.
It took me around like 8 or 9 hours to get here.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's so sick. I love that. You said Tallahassee, Florida, right?
Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
Born and raised. Yeah.
Yep, born and raised.
Okay, gotcha. And yeah, so you saw Brian Shaw. So he was like, okay, going to be at the expo.
Yes.
Which for those of you that know, we had several different, Jay Cutler, Brian Shaw, and then Sydney Wells, and then who else? Ziggy, Ziegler Monster. So that was really sick.
Yes.
So you see that that's going on, and you're like, whoa, like a fitness expo.
Yes.
This would be cool. So you came up, and what was kind of your take on everything? Because I know you came to Move Fit. And you did Move Fit because why Move Fit? Were you just like, I want to work out that day, or what was the what was all that?
Yeah. So when I saw it being advertised, I think it was on this website called Eventbrite, I believe.
Eventbrite, yeah.
Yes. And I was like, what is Move Fit? You know? And I just wanted to be like, you know what? I'm driving 8 or 9 hours out of my way, so I want to make my trip worth it. True. The trip would have been just as worth it on meeting Brian Shaw.
Yes.
But I also wanted to get like a interesting kind of movement into my body because I wanted to do something different. I never heard of what Move Fit is.
Yeah.
Actually, also, before I went to Nashville, Tennessee, I saw that interview that you did with a TV show, I believe, explaining what Move Fit is, and you were like showing like a dancing to the host, and she was like, man, it's so hard to dance with these like high heels on.
Yes.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. Very cool. I love that.
Yes.
That's
so
awesome.
when I saw that little sneak peek, I was like, oh, is this something I'm going to get into? Well, I don't know if it's going to do the same thing, but I'm in for it. I've been working out for a while, so I'm sure I'm ready for it. And then when that Move Fit happened, it was first of all, it was my first time being in an event like that. It was like so huge.
Yeah.
Amazingly huge. There were so many people there. And I was like, man, I just enjoy the lively environment.
Yeah.
So it's just a great experience, like seeing all these people talk about fitness and then promoting their brands and business and whatnot. And then I saw your stuff with the Fight What You Want movement, and then you were like advertising your drinks with your strawberry and blueberry products. And then when it was time to take your class, I was like, okay, give me some strength, God. I'm gonna need it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you did great. I mean, you had fun, and you made the whole thing. And we talked about this during your workout, like how you saw Ziegler got up there on stage with us, right? And he told me, he was like, I don't know, like to do a whole set. He was like, that's crazy. Like he said that.
Yes.
Okay. And you saw him, and like again, and so that's why everyone's always so surprised, especially men. And I've had strong men do it, bodybuilder guys, like everybody, and they're always just like, this is such a workout, and I'm like, exactly. So the fact that you made it through the whole class, like I know you talked about your goals of wanting to build more endurance and things like that, but like it's nothing to like snark at, like when someone can get through Move Fit. Like it's a whole thing. So I was so glad to have you, and that was awesome.
Appreciate that. I was sweating. I was sweating. I was like, Oh my gosh. And then when I think you were saying somewhere along the video, be like, don't worry guys, we're just getting started. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Right. I know. Everyone's like, seriously? Like, thanks for that. But no, it's so funny because, like I said, it's like when you first started, like you said about with the movement, when you first started getting it, you're like, ugh. And then you get past that low and you're just like, I'm in it. And that's kind of how I feel like pretty much for me, it's like once we get to the first song, I'm like, okay, like let's go, and but no, so that meant so much, and I love that. And as you could see, there was tons of different varieties of bodies that did move fit. There was different ages, like little ones to older, like, and that was so cool. So thank you so much for taking part. That meant the world. And from there, again, you got to meet Brian Shaw, you got to meet all these other people, and you followed my journey, obviously, which has been really special.
Yes.
What was something that when you were like, okay, I'm going to come up here, you want to get a workout in, was that like, have you ever got to like, have you ever had a trainer before? Have you ever had like, that kind of thing? Or what is usually your regimen like?
So I had trainers in the past that helped me in my fitness journey. Some come and go. Some I still, at this point of day, still have my trainers as well. Mostly the trainers I do right now is doing a mixture of kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So I've been doing that. And in the past with my trainers, it usually consists of doing like powerlifting and a little bit of bodybuilding. But I never got like a trainer that really focuses on like on high intense interval trainings and whatnot. And that's when I got into like the kickboxing and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu trainings for that.
Very cool. I love that. So tell them a little bit more about what you do, your age, all that stuff.
Okay, my age. Want to just guess how old I am?
I don't want to guess. I'm so bad at this. Like, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I talk about my age a lot, so it's not fair for me to like have him guess me because I tell everybody how old I am. But I don't know. Logan, you wanna guess? Like, he's like, I want to avoid that one. I'm not sure. You guys tell us.
Okay. Gotcha. So I am 29.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I know that's very surprising to see.
Yeah. No, like you act like you carry yourself like older. You know what I mean? So I had no idea, like I said, but very cool. Okay, so I'm just a little bit older. It's fine. But I hate 31, man. I can't. No, but so tell me, okay, so like you grew up in Florida, you said, and what do you do now for work?
So right now I work as a maintenance for Florida State University at the Leach Recreation Center.
Okay. So did you get into that, like, were you going to college there and then you just kind of stayed around to do that? Or was it like, what was that connection?
So let's see. Okay, so I kind of started off when I first got accepted into FSU in 2018 in the School of Theater. And then once after that, I was walking around campus. The Leach Recreation Center was very like noticeable for a lot of the students and faculty there. And I wanted to be like, okay, I know that my friends talk about the Leach a lot. So I was like, you know what, let me go see what it's like. And the gym there was like very huge. It has like 3 stories.
Oh, I bet.
Yes.
Like, awesome.
And I wanted to like see what the environment is like. And then I saw like people doing like walking equipment and doing some cleaning. And I'm like, you know what? Let me go ask to see if I can have a job over there. So I went through the hiring application. I was a student employee there for at least a good 4 to 5 years. And then after that, there was a open position available for a full-time maintenance position. And I was able to apply for that position, and now I just work full-time there.
Okay, very cool. So when you were in school, what did you go for? What was your degree?
I was a School of Theater major doing like acting in theater.
Wow.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So is that kind of what inspired your like YouTube channel and all your stuff you're doing?
Kind of, because I'm going to try to pick about a little bit further back into my history.
Yeah.
So I always been interested in like acting because I don't know about you, but I've been a big fan of like Jackie Chan, Jet Li, and Bruce Lee movies.
Yes.
And I always like see myself doing those kind of things. That's kind of how I got into fitness. But at the same time, my mind was like, I want to do that one day, but my body was like, I don't want to do that.
Right.
It's so tiring.
Yeah, you're like, I got to bring the two together.
Yes, for sure. And then after that, I was like, you know what? I want to get into acting because I wanted to be like a different kind of character to show like what kind of insights I can do for the character itself.
Yeah.
So I tried really hard to get as many opportunities as I can, whether it's filming or whether it's acting on stage. And the first moment I got into really acting on stage was when I went to North Florida Christian School. We were doing a high school musical called We the 50s.
Okay.
And so we were doing a musical. And then when I got on stage, I was like, whew, my heart is like beating from my chest. And there's no people there. We're just rehearsing.
Right.
Yes. And then when it was time for the show to start, I see a bunch of people there. I'm like, please, God, help me calm my anxiety and my nerves. And then the moment I was doing my acting, the moment we started dancing on stage, it was like, wow, it's such an incredible feeling.
It is.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I definitely get that. Competitive dance my whole life. That's like the mural you saw in the LYB. So that's like that dance jump and everything. And took theater classes, all of the stuff, did acting camps. But yeah, so I definitely, that thrill, I love it. I always tell him, I'm like, put me on in a stadium, like literally, like we were at a stadium the other day, and I was like, but with crowd of like millions of people, and I would be much better with that than I would, like I've taught before, when I first started out to like 4 people, like I would much rather go to thousands of people than just like 4, and just because of I love that presence and that energy from them. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It just makes it easier.
Oh yeah, for sure, most definitely, and it makes it so much easier that the crowd is like cheering you on.
Exactly.
Yes, it makes your nervousness, at least for me, like calm down a bit because you know that the audience is with your side, because performing on stage is very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for sure. So you did that, and then were you in like a bunch of different shows like throughout that time, or was it like what was that like?
So the only shows I ever been to on stage was only during my high school career.
Okay.
And then after that, I just got the opportunity to just be accepted into the School of Theater.
Yeah.
And I was mostly doing classes there and knowing the history about theater.
Okay.
And theater kind of gave me a way to get opportunities into filming, at least, to get some exposure to other people that enjoy the art of acting, because I didn't realize that there's a difference between acting in theater and a difference in acting in filming.
Oh yeah. 100%. I have a couple clients and people that listen to this podcast as well that have been in theater and acting. They're like probably shaking their head right now, like, yeah, it's different. Like, so when you learned about that, were you kind of like, okay, I like, which one did you like over the other? Like, what did you want,
With acting for theater, the only nervousness I have about is when I'm performing on stage, I try my best not to mess up because I don't want to mess up on stage because I can't I do my best to improv if I mess up a line,
right?
But I can't take it back compared to acting on a film.
Yeah,
you can at least edit that part out and just do a cut,
right?
Take a next take.
There's more pressure for the theater. Totally get that. No, I definitely, it's so funny when you say that. I'm thinking about like my high school, like even when we did like plays and stuff like that, and yeah, I definitely loved. More so I'm better at dance and expressing that way and like leading class versus like actually having to learn lines and then perform them. Like I just never could be natural. But when we did improv stuff, oh my gosh, crushed it. Like I literally that was like my favorite. They were like, you excel in this, but you give me lines to learn. I'm like, this is like, you know what I mean? I'm so ridiculous.
So you were much better doing improv.
Yes.
Oh my. That's something that for me at least, I'm terrible at improv. Even then, sometimes I tend to be good at improv when I don't think about it.
Right.
But then I'd be like, I'm terrible at improv because I'm trying to think about it. Because it's like when I try to study lines when it's for theater or film, I think of it at like studying for a test, you know, when I'm trying to memorize the quadratic formula for calculus.
Right.
I try to memorize my lines as well. So that's kind of the contrary I do with studying for my test to studying my lines. I at least know what lines I have to say.
Yes, I got you. Yeah. I was never really a great test taker, so that's why I didn't relate on that level. Yeah. But that's so cool. Okay, so then were you like, so you got accepted in that school, and then what year was that? How old were you?
let's see. So I was around a junior in high school for that High School Musical experience.
Okay, cool.
Then after that, I went to TCC to get my AA degree. I was still trying to like find my way on what I wanted to do as a career, because as I really like research about acting, whether it's theater or filming, it's hard to make a living of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
So then with that, were you kind of like, okay, well, I have this set, like I'm going to apply for this job at the college. So that way you probably get in to be able to work out for free, right?
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. So I know a lot of people that did that, in school. And that was like when I went to UT Knoxville, I taught group classes and did, personal training there. And that's where I fell in love with movement. So at that point, have you kind of like switched gears of being like, okay, well, now I love movement so much. I want everything kind of around that. Or what does that look like now?
Yeah. So right now, I just really enjoy the aspects of all three variables of filming and fitness, because through the art of filming with fitness, I get to see my journey in the fitness of wherever my fitness is. I get to see what I look like from day one to like day 30,
Yeah.
And that's why I really enjoy like filming my workouts, just to see the progress I can do. As for me, as an inspiration to myself to see how much work progress I have from day 1 to day 30, and not only inspiration to me, but hopefully can inspire like other people in their fitness journey.
Well, and I love that, and that's beautiful to say, because you said originally that like Jackie Chan and like those people were like kind of someone that you looked up to, right? But it wasn't like that they were such an idol that you're like, okay, well, it's so like how some people put them on such a pedestal, and then it almost feels defeating. It's almost like you're like, no, like here's some people that like I can kind of get inspired by, but I'm gonna look at my journey, be authentic with it, focus on being my best each day in and out, and that's crucial. And I think that's what a lot of people forget when they look at these people, like like the Brian Shaws and those people, right? And just more so focusing on like that's great and that's inspiring, but like I want to be my best. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like, and so I love that. So when it comes to, with being inspired and wanting to inspire others, you have a YouTube channel, you said.
Yes.
And when you go on there, is it more like you're doing day in the life? Is it all just fitness? What does that look like?
So with my YouTube channel, I definitely want to be like the type of person that's entertaining, but at the same time influential as well. Sometimes I do a mixture of like fun challenges or even whiskey challenges, like the one chip challenge. Have you heard of the one chip challenge?
No, what is that? What?
The one chip challenge is called a pocket chip. It's supposed to be the world's spiciest chip ever. And it's supposed to be more spicy than the Buffalo Wild Wings.
That's a hard no. I'm going to cry literally thinking about this. I'm such a baby when it comes to spicy stuff. Like literally such a child. Like I can't. I wish I could. But like, no. So you do stuff like that. Okay, gotcha.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And besides doing that kind of crazy challenge, I also do a mixture of doing like vlogs about my life as well, whether I do like traveling to certain places like here, for example, Nashville, Tennessee, or North Carolina, Miami, Orlando, anywhere that's between like an 8 or 9, 10-hour drive at most. I'm willing to drive out that way because I wanted to like really show to the people that I'm driving there for how much dedication I am to try to do a exposure of connections and making good memories whoever that I meet from that 8 or 9, 10-hour drive, just to show them how much dedicated I am, because I learned when you really want something, you have to. Have you ever watched the movie Facing the Giants? Okay, so in this movie, there was a scene about preparing your fields.
Okay.
When you want to like pray for something, you can't just pray and just sit on the couch and just eat potato chips.
Right.
You got to be sure that you prepare your fields.
Yes.
And once you prepare your fields, God will send you the rain in His timing and not my own.
Yeah.
So that's something I try to really take account of. Whenever I want to really pray for God for like guidance and help, I have to be sure I do my part in preparing my fields and making sure I do it at the best of my abilities and make sure I do it at my absolute best, and then I just leave the results to Him.
That's beautiful. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
and I feel the exact same way. So I love that. That's so cool. So, and I think people really underestimate like the whole thing is, I mean, Logan, I've talked about this too, but like with vlogging, you know, literally some of my friends will just be like, yeah, just like do it, like whatever. And I'm like, yes, but also pretty much like I put everything on my Instagram. That's just always been easiest for me because like when I started documenting my journey was about the time when Instagram came about. And so it was just natural to me because I'd be like, here's a picture. Like, and I would take photos of myself like pretty much every day and just for my own progress. But then I'd be like, you know what? Ran 3 miles and like post it. And I was just so like doing that before it was even like, you know, cool to do that. Like I remember people making fun of me for doing it. And be like, okay, like I literally was sitting in a meeting for like sorority and like they said something about, it's really not cool to take selfies anymore. So if we could stop doing that and everyone's looking at me and I'm like, bruh, like, you know what I mean? Because I was like, just like, let me live. Like this is the journey I want to be on. And then like, let's do it. And so anyway, so I just kept to doing that. And and it was so great to look back now. And you have such a fulfillment with like, with looking back and your memories with all that. But when people are saying like the vlogging, they have no idea what it takes. Like it is constant. And that's where sometimes I like to disconnect, you know, because I do like to share. And that's why like we have the Patreon. And so that like, again, is another aspect of like where we can share a little bit deeper. But it's also still like, you know, there's sometimes where I'm just like, I need to live too. You know what I mean? But like for me, truly, and this is so silly, but like the lazier version of the vlogging, I've always tried to manifest somebody like doing a documentary of my life and just follow me around. Like, did you see Along Came Polly? Did you ever see that movie?
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it, and he Ben Affleck and Jennifer Aniston. Anyway, and basically Ben Affleck, or not Ben Affleck, that's wrong. Adam Sandler. No. Okay. Ben Stiller. Jeez, let me go through all of them. Okay, everyone's like, Dani, come on. I've been up since 5, y'all. No, but anyway, so we're in that, and then basically he's like, oh, well, you got the whole E-News, they're following you around, and Phil Seymour Hoffman's like, I paid them to follow me, and I'm like, that's such a me thing, like to follow this film crew, and he's like playing basketball and whatever. That's what I want. So if anybody wants to make that happen, just like to document my life that way, because when you have to do it on your own, like there is a lot to it.
Yeah.
And so with all the time that it takes, the dedication, everything like that. So I applaud you for that. And I know that the right people will understand the hard work in it, you know? So that's very cool. So tell me a little bit. So when you like, even going before, you know, college or anything like that and your high school career, like, so are you an only child? Did you have siblings? What's that? What was the family life like?
So family life is a good life. I have one younger brother who's in med school at the moment, doing his clinical rotations.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, and my dad is a physical therapist, and my mom's a doctor, but right now she's doing caregiving. And so it was kind of like me going my own way because my dad, my mom, my baby brother, they were all going into like the medical stuff. And I don't know if you know, but I'm also Filipino as well, and so it was kind of like in that kind of like circumstances how it's kind of normal for the Filipinos to go into a career like being a lawyer or being a doctor or a physical therapist or in that kind of field.
Yeah.
And so when I told them, especially my parents' friends, about me wanting to take acting as a career, they were like, are you crazy? Did you know it's like 1 of a million chance for you to be someone like that? And so it was kind of like very hard to deal with.
Yeah.
But also, it was also hard to deal with sometimes. Even then, my parents were fully supportive of me.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel in the back of my head that, I don't know, maybe it was best for me to maybe go along with their steps, being a doctor or a physical therapist, because you make more money that way.
It's easier.
Yeah.
Or, well, quote,
yeah. But I come to realize that true, making money is really important because you get to have a career that can be very stable for your life and hopefully my own family one day.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want to make so much money where I don't feel that compassion in, you know? But at the same time, I understand where my family is coming from. So that's why I wanted to get a job in the gym industry because that's something I really enjoy too, whether it's fixing gym equipment or knowing the in and out about what it means to like be in the gym industry or like building like a gym itself and running a gym as well.
Okay.
So that's something I've been always interested in.
Yeah.
So right now, like I said, I work full-time as a maintenance and just knowing the in and out on how much it takes to like clean the gym,
Right.
making sure everything is all nice and organized, and doing what you can to troubleshoot the gym equipment in that gym. It definitely takes hard work, and sometimes you don't really like know what you're doing. You have to like either look at YouTube tutorials or look at the mechanics of the machines.
Right.
But sometimes you have to like really do it on your own and really concentrate on the mind, on troubleshooting the obstacles that you have to deal with that equipment. But at the same time, I do also have some really good friends, co-workers that help me along the journey on trying to figure out on what machines or what other equipment that I need help with, or even like plumbing issues as well in the gym industry, because I also learn it's not just about the gym equipment.
Right.
It's about like the plumbing stuff, the lights in the gym, everything.
We just had someone on that was talking about that as well, about their gym and like how the environment, everything, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like, again, you got to have all those options. Like for example, like my clients, when they come in, if no one's in the Airbnb, then like they can use the shower, they can do the mini fridge, have stuff to heat up their food. So that way it's like, it feels, again, it's a private experience here at the LYB, but they also have that option too.
Yes.
So, because I have people that come from all over, you know what I'm saying? So I get that, and trying to make it as much of a vibe as possible. And that's what we had talked about too, with like whenever, because you would ask me in the gym, you're like, well, how did like you get, the LYB and stuff? Like, and I was just kind of like, again, it was going to be just for me to do my workouts in. And then when I was like putting on stories and stuff like that, people were like, this looks like a vibe. Yeah. And like my clients were like, wait, what are you doing? Why are you working out over here? And I was like, oh, it's just for my prep. And I'm just doing my stuff. They're like, well, can I come see? And then it just took one of them being like, okay. And then another, and then another. And I was like, do you all want to come over here? Like, I mean, cause again, you learn, because I trained at a bunch of different private, well, not a bunch, two, but private personal training gyms. But I've been to so many gyms in my life just to see and take classes and see how people do stuff, Yeah. So this is what I wanted to ask you. So if you had to have like your like ultimate, like your gym, have you thought about this? Have you kind of like wrote it out or have a dream idea?
I have thought about it. Yeah. Okay.
What are some of your like non-negotiables? Like, what were you like, we'd have to have this? Like, for example, like I would like, if I had a full like gym, a full-size gym, that whoever wants to, sponsor that, manifesting. Okay. But basically I like have to have a sauna. Like I would love a sauna.
Oh yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Just for recovery. I've just always enjoyed that after a workout. I think it's a nice, thing. Do you have any like non-negotiables with yours?
Yeah. So does this involve if money is not like expected, like my own gym?
No, we manifest them. We live in like God has provided. Okay. You have all the money in the world.
Okay, gotcha. So my definitely dream gym would definitely, like you said, having a sauna there, and cold plunge and some ice baths, as well. Okay, and then having a variety of gym equipment that works with muscle building. And then some deadlift and squat platforms to work on powerlifting or like heavy lifts. And definitely some punching bags as well, because I definitely want to incorporate like a mixture of doing like heavy weight training with training with your fighting skills as well.
Okay. I love that. It's always so interesting, like when you start really thinking about it and everything, like, is there any actual like equipment, like brands that you love? Like, do you know what I mean? Like Hammer Strength, or is it like Rogue or like any of those?
So I like Hammer Strength, and then I like some Light Fitness and Rogue.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, cool. So you know the type of brands and stuff that you would have in there. Very cool. Is there like in Tallahassee, like where you're at, like besides the State University, like are there like other gyms that you have gone to and seen and like got kind of taken from and been like, okay, I like that, or like that? Okay.
Yes. I've been to there's a lot of gyms in Tallahassee. Okay. And the gyms that I really enjoy seeing, and just it's also very nice to like have a variety of different gyms or what they do as well. There's this gym called Momentum Fitness. Okay. Another gym called Premier Health and Fitness Center. Okay. Another gym, Midtown Movement and Medicine. Okay. And then the kickboxing that I do is 9 Round Tallahassee.
Oh, yeah.
And then another one where I do my Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is Train, Fight, Win.
Okay, nice.
Yes.
Okay. So it's a very active community there.
Yes.
So like I told you, when I competed in dance, I would go to Florida every summer. That's where we had our nationals. So, but it'd be different parts. Okay. So, so I've been to like Panama City, Destin. I've done Fort Walton. I've even been to Tampa, I've been to Orlando. Like I feel like all these different parts, but yeah, I haven't been to Tallahassee, I haven't been to Miami. Hey guys, thank you so much for subscribing to the Love Your Body podcast. If you get a chance, please make sure to share this episode with someone that you feel like could need help in their healthy lifestyle journey or need a little inspiration. If you haven't checked out all of my offerings, make sure to follow me on Instagram at DaniFitness1 or on all social platforms as well. You guys, I'm so excited about my new book, How to Love Your Body Throughout. So if you are interested in getting that, you can order via Amazon, as well as if you're local, make sure to check out my next book signing coming up. And I really appreciate all the support in that. And I hope that you are able to love your body a little bit more today.
Hey guys, my name is Matt DeMaio, and if you want to follow me on my journey, you can type in my YouTube channel name, Demon Sayan, DEMONSAYIAN. Thank you. Appreciate that.
So we're talking, dream gyms. So that's something that we're going to pray on and manifest, which I love, which is great. So with your family dynamic and everything, so, are you do you still live near them? Are they what's that like?
Still live with my family.
Okay.
So
okay.
that's been a blessing as well, because I know sometimes it can be kind of, embarrassing to still live with your family. But nowadays, it's tough to buy your own place because how much expensive it is.
Yeah.
And not only that, I want to move out from my family one day when God gives me that white woman in my life one day. Because even if I get the opportunity to buy my own house, I feel very lonely in there. I may have a big house, but I'm just a lonely person in that big house. And also, I don't want to spend money on a house if I'm going to be miserable living in there by myself.
Right.
And not only that, my parents are around in their 60s.
Okay.
And so I'm very blessed to still have them. So I don't want to be so quickly to just move out of my family's life.
Right. Yes.
And they're still grateful to have me in there. They just want me to know how much that if you're going to go with this career, whether it's filming or acting, definitely do your best to get a job that is suitable for you. And that's why I wanted to work at a gym, because that's something that I really enjoy doing, and it is at least sustainable in my salary to do what I need to do in my side hobbies in my YouTube channel.
Okay, yeah, totally get that.
Yes.
And I understand what you're talking about. So I love that you said that for everyone to not be embarrassed by it, because for example, when I came back from Vermont, it was it's so funny. Also, I do want to mention on a couple podcasts ago, somebody Jody had said that we know each other since 2014. I didn't even start at Prairie Life until 2016. And I was like, yo, I'm so dyslexic with my years that I'm like, I totally was going on with her. And I'm like, no, sis, I was still in college. I hadn't even graduated yet.
Yeah.
But I just missed it, So anyway, so I'm not going to throw out dates here. But when I'm looking back at it, it's just interesting because I knew that I wanted to move out. I told myself, hopefully around mid-20s or whatever, but I didn't put a hard line on it. And I remember that I had so much pressure from clients and people. I was training out in Franklin, and they were like, "You gonna live with your parents forever?" And they're like, "Come just buy a place in Franklin." I'm like, "Are you buying it for me?" You know what I'm saying? I'm who's buying a place in Franklin? I don't know if you've been over there, but it's so Williamson County is the 8th wealthiest. I don't know if this is up to date, but the 8th wealthiest county in the world. Okay, in the U.S. So pretty well off. Okay, so I'm like, no, guys, I'm not buying a place. So anyway, so when I started my business, I was 24, and so it took me really it took me a couple of years. I guess it was 3 years, because after working hard, I'm talking going from Murfreesboro, driving to Franklin every day, and then going from Murfreesboro to Franklin to Nashville every day. Okay, and I was training people at all hours of the day, sometimes 8 o'clock at night, no rest ever, and it was one of those things where once that happened, everybody kept saying, "Okay, well, are you gonna live with your parents forever?" I said, "Guys, God's gonna bring me something. I don't know what, but I'm not gonna pay to live in Nashville." And I kept saying that. Everyone looked at me like I was crazy, but I was like, "I'm not." And thankfully, Jenna, who you've listened to the podcast, and so she had just found my mission, and she loved it, and so she offered me a place at Connect in that high rise that I got to live there for free. For a year. And that was incredible.
Yeah.
And so it's one of those things where again, that afforded me the time to save money.
Yes.
And I was literally 4 minutes from where my gym was. So I could walk there or just drive. And it was super easy. And that capacity. But it was one of those things where it was the right timing, but it wasn't until I was 27. I literally remember I was like, oh, let me get in before I turned 27 because I was supposed to. And there was the week after. And I was like, dang it. But anyway, so I moved out of my parents when I was 27. But again, I had gone to Vermont after college. I kind of got some time away and everything like that. But yeah, I again, it happens when it's supposed to happen.
Yes,
And if you work hard and you continue to keep, fighting for what you want, I do believe that. And then it's one of those things when you force things, put yourself in debt, or you force things, and you just because of others' appearance of how they view you or whatever. So I think that that's so important for people to stay grounded in. And I definitely get it when you talk about the whole house thing, because even with this house, right? You've seen the Airbnb, so you're over there, and so you got the Airbnb, and then over here on the side. Really, I don't even if it was you didn't have the wall and it was a full house, that is enough for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to feel one, I don't want to clean already, you know what I mean? And I don't. So I pay someone to clean. And so it's one of those things where it's just I can't imagine, having that type of deal. And so I again, it goes back to what success looks like. It's different for everyone, And so I'm very proud to have a house,
Yes.
And but again, those opportunities came from the hard work and the things that happened, prior. And so I think that always kind of keeping yourself in that mindset is huge.
Yes.
And so many people your age are not doing that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think I did some research sometimes that people just immediately either their parents kick them out once they turn 18 or even teenagers around 18 or 19, they're so in a hurry to move out of their parents' house. They want to be independent, but sometimes you don't realize how much hard work it takes to, whether it's buying your own apartment or renting your own apartment, buying a house or renting a house or doing stuff like that. It's difficult to do. When I went for the first time to do what's it called? Open houses. And when I check out the open houses and talking to the realtor, I'm like, wait, this is the process to buying a house?
Yeah.
It's so much information. I thought I could just go to a random house, give them my credit card, and then just buy it like I do with the grocery stores.
Yeah. It's so much more in depth. And even a couple of my clients just bought their first house and they were like, we had no idea. Or they're like, this is happening and why does it have to happen like this? And I'm like, yeah, there's a lot to it. And even going through that, I just remember signing it was 100 pages. No joke. You're just okay, sign, and then sign, and then sign, and then sign. And I was like, are we done? And then afterwards, they're like, yeah, okay, you can leave. I was like, so that's it? We're just, okay? You know what I mean? So it was such a weird experience. And even to now, I still ask questions. And I feel I'm silly sometimes because I'm like, can we explain this to me? Because some people will tell you different things. And it's just it's not black and white a lot of times. There's a lot of different negotiations and things like that. So definitely get that. And the whole being lonely thing too, for sure. I know for me, that's where movement comes in and has helped me through that process. So is that something do you meditate? Do you do is your jiu-jitsu? Does that help you with all of that? Or, how is that for you?
So I definitely, concentrate on doing movement as well, just so I can get that good sweat in, get that good exercise in, because I feel much better whenever I do get into those lonely moments. But the one thing I've been doing recently is reading the Bible, reading God's word to really focus and meditate and pray on His word whenever I do get those situations.
That's amazing.
And even then that I don't see it happening, God's still at work even when I don't see it or even when I don't feel it. He is always working. And so I just have to really believe it in my heart and have that faith in Him that He is doing work, even behind the scenes or even if I don't see it. I just have to make sure, like I told you before, do my part to do my best and be very grateful I get the opportunity to still live with my family. And so when that day comes for me to move out, it's definitely somewhere along the lines when I have a suitable budget, a suitable career, and a good wife as well,
I love that. Oh, that's so cool. So tell me a little bit about, so Filipino, right?
Yes, Filipino.
Okay, so in that culture, is there I mean, is it expected of you to get married young? Is it like, you know what I mean? Like, did your parents get married young? Was that a whole thing? Is your sibling, like, is he focusing on school? Is he in a relationship or anything? Or what's that like?
Wow, so many questions.
I know. I know. Just, yeah, I know. We got some time.
Yeah. So right now, my brother, he's just focusing on school.
Yeah, okay.
And it would just be too tough for him to be in a relationship with someone with that kind of load that he has.
I gotcha.
And for my parents' culture, I believe they just got married. After they graduated from college.
Okay.
And then my dad convinced my mom to come to America in around 1994, and all around 1990s, I believe. And then I was born in 1995 in Tallahassee, Florida.
Okay. Yes. Wow.
And I don't think, according to what I know, at least, don't quote me on this.
Right.
But in the Filipino culture, when you get married, it doesn't really have a set date on time on what age you can be. You can marry young, you can marry mid, that you can marry old, just as long as you marry someone who is of a great value within your life, and at the same time, a great value that God has provided you in your life. At least for me, for example, when there's been a different moments in my life where I dated or like seen Christian girls, but they don't really like show the aspect of what it means to be a Christian.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so when I really got into reading the Bible and praying, I learned that when God sends me that one woman one day, I want to be sure that that woman not only just loves me, but she puts God first before me. Because if she puts me first, that's like putting me as an idol, you know?
100%.
And I want to be sure that, okay, I appreciate that you love me, but I hope that you know that I'm not God. I never will be a God.
Right.
And I just hope that that woman, my wife one day, will put God first above all.
I love that. No, and that's exactly how it's supposed to be. And I feel like, you know, when it comes to it, so many people have it backwards. You know what I mean? And with God at the center of everything, like it's a beautiful relationship. And I definitely understand what you mean by the whole, like, where people tend to say that they're a Christian, but they don't act as if they're with the Spirit. They don't act like they're in their faith. And that's why it gets to be frustrating for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost just like they claim it as, you know, that to make themselves look better.
Yes,
right.
yes.
So, and that's what I was gonna ask you. So, is y'all like, so with the Filipino culture, like, is God, like, is Christianity that? Because I didn't know that. Like, is that the main
It's
religion?
mostly in the Filipino culture with Catholics.
Catholics. Okay, gotcha.
Mostly,
Okay,
yeah.
got
but
it.
for me and my family, we mostly reside to the culture or the labeling of Baptists.
Okay,
that we do
gotcha.
at the moment.
Okay, nice. Okay. Yeah, I grew up like going to a Christian school. And so, but it was like very like Southern Baptist.
Yes,
So
yes.
yeah, like they didn't want you to cut your hair, you know, the long dresses, all the things, you know, all that. But again, great values. I've learned so much, and I really did love that school. It was great. But anyway, so tell me a little bit. So I know we talked about, you know, kind of with your upbringing and everything like that. So do you feel like, you know, in terms of coming to like the, like traveling and coming to like the expo and everything like that, like when you reflect back, like what was kind of your like biggest takeaway from like putting yourself out there? Because I think a lot of people right now are so afraid, and I don't know if it's just because of COVID. I know with me it was like grief, right? And we go through like loss and stuff. That it kind of can like put you in a little bit of a shell. And so when you're like stepping out of your comfort zone and going to places and things, like, did you feel like, were you nervous when you were going to the expo? Were you just like super hyped? Like, what's something that kind of got you like level to be like, okay, I'm here, I'm on my own, but I'm just going to make the best of it.
Yes, for sure. So it was definitely a mixture of both feelings of being nervous and being very excited, because I I can't remember if I said this, but this is my second time going to a big event like that. My first time was when I went to Lift Miami with Gymshark, and that was just as much of a bigger event like the Music City Fit Expo. Nice. The only difference is with the Lift Miami, that's where the event came from. With the Lift Miami Gymshark, I didn't really take the opportunity to like talk to people because I was like, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah, you were just there. Yeah.
I was just there, just enjoying the vibe, enjoying the environment. Yeah. And when I had the opportunity to go to the Music City Fit Expo, I saw a little recap of the 2023 Fit Expo, and I saw what it was like. I was like, okay, in the 2024, I want to do something different that I didn't do for the Lift Miami Gymshark event.
Yes.
Let me try to do my best to talk to people and try to get as much as connections as possible.
Yeah.
And in the Music City Fix Expo, I really brought up the course to try to ask this woman who was doing like an advertisement for this Rivian car that she was doing in the Music City Fit Expo.
Okay.
And she took me with a car drive along with it. I was like, oh man, this car was really nice and smooth and really has that very new new car smell as well.
Okay.
So I enjoy the opportunity for me just able to like talk to her and having that opportunity. And the second opportunity was when I went to another booth. They were advertising their ice cream.
Okay.
And I was like, oh man, this is really good ice cream.
Yeah.
So I learned that even then, at least for me, I'm very shy and introverted, even now at this point.
Yeah. You're doing a great job.
Thanks, appreciate that. And that sometimes I don't really know like what to say.
Yeah.
But sometimes I just try to do my best and let the Holy Spirit just talk through me to the people that I'm talking to.
Yeah. That's incredible. I love that so much, Matt. That's so special.
Thanks.
And thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Because it really is like, sometimes my clients will be like, because I'll do it usually, like the expo is a little bit different just because it was like, you know, loud and we were on a time crunch and stuff like that. But like usually I'll do like a body positive talk afterwards, you know, especially if we have time to like sit in the space, everything like that, as everyone's cooling down. But sometimes they'll say, do you like, did you plan that before you said it? Or did you? And I was like, honestly, no. Most of the time I kind of black out. And you know what I mean? Because I'm just right after Move Fit and whatever. I black out and it just comes out. And they're like, that was amazing. Like that really resonated with me or that helped me or something like that. And I'm like, that is the Holy Spirit. Like, y'all think I came up with that? Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so it is cool to like, again, you know, let that lead and let that guide you. And, and so that's beautiful. So I love that. And again, too, you were so intentional, right? So you didn't just go and show up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you were like, you know what? I'm going to make this goal that I'm going to go there with purpose.
Yes.
Right. And I love that. Cause again, my whole thing with my clients is, you know, and even with, you know, myself is, showing up's like more than half the battle.
Yes.
Right? Show up.
Yes.
And then, you know, if it was awful, you could always leave. You could always moonwalk out of there. Like you don't have to stay. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and so it's one of those things where you have the options, you have the choices, but we look so much at the negative of like, oh, it's probably going to go this way. And it's like, well, if you go ahead and say that it is, then it is. But if you go into it with a better mindset and everything like that, like, then you never know what could happen.
Yes.
You know? And who you're going to meet and then end up on their podcast, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's a big thing too, is like, you know, you were, what's the word? Not intentional, but like, you were very communicative, like in terms of like commenting on like the posts and stuff like that. I noticed those things, you know, and that means a lot.
Yeah.
Especially when like I continue to get like kind of shadow banned and restricted on Instagram, whether I talk about God or whether it's me in a bikini. Just something makes them mad about either one of those two things.
Yeah.
Okay. They are not vibing with it. So when that happens, people can't even see my stuff. So it means a lot when people share things or when they comment or when they whatever, versus being like, oh, you know, a lot of times people will be like, well, they're already doing so well, or they have these followers or whatever. It's like, no, like everyone that when you drink fight, like, and people tag me, that makes my day. You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
like that's huge. And people really, I think, undervalue just even those little things, you know, like someone sent me a message the other day. I mean, it was a huge paragraph. This girl I'd never met before in my life. And she's like, I know you don't know me. This may be a little weird, but, and she said the kindest things. And she's like, we used to dance like around the same place, you know, when we were younger and da-da-da-da. And I was just like, thank you so much, because that really was just, it just made my whole day.
Nice,
you know,
nice.
and it wasn't like she was like, oh, I want to be like a client. I want to do this. I want to buy all these things. It was none of that. It literally was simply just been like, thank you for doing what you're doing. And like, let's keep it going.
Yes.
You know,
yes.
and that was awesome. So again, and like I say, a thank you. It said like, hey, I've been listening to the podcast and everything like that. And so I wanted to, give you this opportunity to like, again, share your story and everything, but also tell them, like, do you, like, from listening to the podcast, listening to the episodes or anything like that, has anything stood out to you? Has there been anything that you're like, oh man, I really wish I could share this with everybody? Like anything like that you want to share?
So definitely a story for sure.
Yeah.
And it can be emotional
Okay.
for sure.
Fine.
But it's definitely gotten to the point where I truly believe God works in mysterious ways, even then I don't see it. And like I said, he's working behind the scenes.
Right.
So in 2017, there was a point where my depression and anxiety really got to me where I just wanted to take my own life. And when it got to that point, I was like, I had no purpose. I felt like I was let down with my family, my brother. All these things in my head was telling me, go ahead, do it. Sure, people will mourn or cry over you, but they will get over it. And that was just my flesh just really just talking within me about that. And I was in so much pain. I was like, I just want to end this pain. I want to just be done with it. I don't want to like deal with this anymore. And it was also in that same year, I was dealing with a love triangle that I had with a girl that I really thought was going to be my wife, the mother of my children.
Yeah.
She was the girl that I was in love with, you know, and that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. And then when things got weary, I kind of like blamed God on, why did you send me this girl in order for her to break my heart or just didn't work out?
Right.
And I blamed God, I blamed myself, and I just thought that my purpose on this earth wasn't relatable anymore.
Yeah.
And so the moment that I wanted to just take my life or just give up on life, I just felt that encounter of Jesus Christ telling me that it's okay. You're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And there was a moment in the Bible when Jesus was talking to Thomas about the pain that he was going through, that it may be painful, but in time you will understand. Just please don't give up. And so with a grain of salt, I did my best to just try to fight through the pain and get back up. Even then, life was really hitting me hard, like in that movie with Walkie. Life can definitely hit you hard.
Right.
And it just depends on how much are you willing to get back up or just lay there and let life keep on hitting you.
Yeah.
And because of the love and grace of Jesus Christ, he definitely helped me see that there is still a purpose in me that I have for you on this earth. Just keep on going. And so from that point on, I just did my best to walk through that pain and gone through that. And just thinking about it it happened in 2017. So that's 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm like looking back at it now, if I would have just gave in to my flesh, gave up on life and just believe that Jesus Christ wasn't there for me, even then he really was, I would not be here at this moment talking to you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And thank you for sharing that. Like it's so hard because I feel like all of us, like even more recently, we've been very open about talking about this, but have gotten to these so lows, right? This such a low, and it just feels like, why bother, right? Like, why even keep trying? Like, what's the point, right? And we had Nikki on here to talk about her, journey with all of that, and how it really was like, let's take today, like, maybe it wasn't it today. Right? Maybe today is not the day, but tomorrow's a new day.
Yeah.
Right? Let me make it through tonight. Right? And again, taking everything in those small steps.
Yes.
To move forward. And I really do appreciate your openness about your faith and everything like that. And that's amazing because again, like, God is everything and he has always been there and he will always continue to be there for you. And so I love that he was able to come to you in that time. And I feel like that too. I mean, there's times where I look back, I'm like, there's no reason that I shouldn't have been in an accident, you know what I mean? Or that I shouldn't have been somewhere else. Like, and to look at it and say, look at how amazing, like, your journey has been up to this point, right? And I'm sure you've gotten closer with your family.
Yes.
I mean, there's been so many, beautiful moments that even though that heartbreak and everything like that was, I mean, again, we don't ever forget it, right? But we can forgive ourselves,
Yes.
and forgive like the people around us and that maybe have hurt us. Because it does no good to hold on to the anger, right? But to be like, look at the things that you've been able to accomplish past that you wouldn't have gotten to do, and so I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, of course, you're
That's
welcome.
so special.
And another thing I want to also mention is if things would have worked out my way, if I would have gotten married to this girl, I would have be over there. I would have no reason to do any traveling whatsoever. I would not have any reason to travel to Miami. I would not have any reason to travel to Nashville, Tennessee to meet Brian Shaw because if I would have done that, I don't think my wife would, I don't know, let me travel and spend all that money.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and I guess, I think that a lot of times, and a lot of my girls I train are, that are single.
Yes.
And so some of them are just it seems like it's such a down, they look at it from a very negative point. I'm like, you literally have the most freedom to do whatever you want right now.
Yes.
You don't have to tell nobody. And some people look at that as a negative. I get life in that because again, you know what I mean though? Where if I just want to go for a walk, I'm going to go for a walk. Or if I need to do this, and again, because I know there will be a time where I will have that person that I want to share that with. I'm like, hey, come walk with me or whatever. But to have your own, ability to pick up and go. I went to Cedar Point with my best friend. Okay. Just randomly. And we went to that. Not to say I couldn't do that if I had a husband, right?
Yeah.
But again, if I was raising a 6-month-old, nah. You know what I mean? I'm not probably gonna go to the Cedar, to the roller coaster park. Okay. So it was one of those things where it was just a beautiful moment to get to do that. And I'll remember that forever.
Yes.
That was huge. So it's take advantage of this season and know that it's just a season.
Yes.
And you don't know how long the season is.
Yes.
But when we live with that expectation, which is so much, easier said than done, everyone's heard me say this a million times, but really I really never had any expectations for things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when I did start to do that, that's when stuff got toxic. I was like, oh, I'm a strong woman. I'm going to get to be a pro and I'm going to get to, the Arnold and And my focus got so small, the tunnel vision, right? And it was on just on that. That was all that mattered. And then it was overtaking and to where it wasn't fun anymore, And I remember sitting there at whatever nationals it was. I didn't have the coach couldn't make it. My boyfriend at the time wasn't there. And I remember just sobbing, and I had been drinking. And afterwards, because I didn't make it, and I told my friend at the time, I said, hey, or my friend still to this day, but I said, that was my last shot. And he was like, no, you have next year. It's okay, whatever. Literally, something told me that that was it. And the next competition I went to was the one I got injured. Oh. And so but honestly though, I was so angry for so long about that because, you know what I mean? I felt like if I could have just done better. But anyway, it was one of those things where God protected me. And I still think to this day that that there could have been a way worse outcome. You know what I'm saying? With my leg and everything like that. Right now, I can feel my leg fully and that's great. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's a huge win. But for a long time, they're like, we don't know if you'll ever get full function, if you won't have nerve damage, we don't know, we can't tell you. And it was just one of those things where I was so upset, so lonely, but God was saying he was trying to push me closer to him because I was so far away.
Yeah.
I thought I was cool, I thought I was there, but it definitely wasn't walking with him. And then it was one of those things where it was I had to get so far away. And then here we go. I was like, okay, you're right.
Yeah.
Turn it around. And so anyway, all that to say, things do happen how they're supposed to. And it was just that I was going down a path. Things I'll let you go down this path, but we're going to redirect. We got to redirect. So I'm going to knock you off. More slap me off is what it felt like. But again, and that happens though, and that's the Bible verse that I have right here about showing me the path. I want him to show me the path.
Yes.
I'm not going to force it anymore. I'm not going to wheel it in, whatever. And have these harsh expectations and just be you know what? I'm going to show up at these events. Whatever happens. And if nothing comes from it, cool. But at least I put myself out there.
Yes.
And all of that. So and again, and same thing too with having you come on and everything like that. It's like, this has been such a special conversation. And I love this. You know what I mean? And like, and if, you know, if I was like, oh no, I only need people that I've only ever met, like, you know, that I know really well or whatever, like this was great. And so I hope that you've enjoyed, you know, getting to come on and share a little bit. So is there anything that you want to tell anybody listening that maybe is struggling right now, or that, you know, any insights that you want to give them?
I think the one thing I'd just like to say is that life can definitely kick you to the ground. And sometimes, at least for me, it was definitely difficult to lay there and wanting to give up. But if I would have gave up, like I said, I would not be here at this moment. If I wanted things to work out my way, my timing again, I would not be in this podcast room telling you my story.
Right.
And everything works out in God's timing and in His way. And so when I really come to really realize that and putting my faith and trust in Him, that's when my life has completely changed. True, there's still like the ups and downs I deal with life. That's how life is. For sure.
It's not saying that this is going to be perfect. No. Most of the time when you're a Christ follower, you're going to have more struggles, honestly, because you are living in the low, you know. And I think you heard me talk on the podcast too about with all the like the hormone stuff, you know, and everything. Like I was like, you've stripped me from everything. I have nothing. Like you know what I mean? Like I don't. What else could you take? Right? And it's like no, there always could be more. But like, you know what I mean? So it's like okay, but it was one of those things where I had to sit, cry on the Stairmaster, and then be like, okay, you know what? Let's reevaluate. And every time I get to that, thankfully, he comes back in and he's like, hey, like, no, like I got you. Just let me get you, you know? So I love that. And that's so special. So tell me, you know, besides, you know, you came and did the workout and everything like that. So what are you going to do with the rest of your time here in Nashville? So I'm going to do a couple of things after this podcast. So I'm going to Highway 55 to do the hamburger challenge, where the burgers are like this long right over here. And so that's another video I'll be doing. So that's what you're fasted this morning when you work out. You know, just smash 37 burgers.
With the French fries as well.
The French fries. I can't even. Yeah, I can eat all the French fries. Wait, are they waffle fries or what kind of fries are we talking?
I think it's just regular fries. I believe.
Well, whatever. But yeah, so wait, so tell me about this challenge. Like, I want to know. What do you have to do? So, like a time frame? Like,
so just eat the hamburger and French fries within a time limit of 30 minutes. And honestly, I'm very terrible with time limits. I just want to see if I can just eat it. If I do end up eating it within the time limit, at least my food will be free.
Right. How big is this hamburger? I want to, like, is this like huge? Like, what is it?
I believe it's around this big, but the patties itself are very thick.
Oh, okay. Hey, I think I've watched those shows, you know, the whatever the eating contest shows, because like y'all gotta understand, like I used to like low key, this was like a goal of mine back in the day. But anyway, so I love that you're gonna go fulfill it for me, right? That's what you're gonna do. Okay, you definitely gotta let me know. It's like I can just see him like winning and then be like, just gotta work out it one day to fitness.
That's my protein.
Just like title it. That's like fight for what you want. Oh my gosh. Okay, no, but they said that you need to like wet the bun. You know what I'm saying? To digest, because the bread is that's what'll like mess you up. You know what I'm saying? When you're rushing and stuff. Because I'm so competitive, so that's why I was learning all the techniques. I was like, you don't do this, you do this, and like so funny. So I love that you're gonna do that. Okay, what else are you gonna go do?
I'm also going to go to this donuts place called $5, I believe.
$5,
and try out their donuts because I always see like good reviews about them. So I'm going to try them out for a food review video. Then after that, going to go to this breakfast thing called the Loveless Cafe. And try out their biscuits, I believe, that most famous for.
That is, you'll like that area. So that'll be really cool. Get you kind of more of a southern feel, you know. So that'll be awesome. So you got a jam-packed weekend. I love this so much. Well, awesome. Well, thank you so much, Matt, for coming on. And you know I got to ask you, because I ask everybody, what is something that you love about your body?
What I love about my body is my legs.
Your legs? Yes. Okay, yes. Yeah, we talked about your favorite type of workouts is leg focused, right?
Yes.
Okay, I love that. Well, I got to ask you then, squat or deadlift?
Ooh, that's a tough one. Honestly, deadlifts.
Yeah, he knows. He knows. That's my vibe. That's all day with them deadlifts. Well, very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on, and I appreciate it. And I can't wait to see where your journey takes you. I know it's going to be blessed. So.
Of course. Thank you, Dani.
Until next time.